Normally, each person's methods for designing interfaces may vary. However, for HMI systems, due to the small screen size, the design needs to be optimized to ensure that all functions are displayed clearly and are easy to operate. A common approach is to design an interface area at the top as a header. In this lesson, we'll guide you on how to create the most commonly used header. The layout of this header includes three main parts: the company logo, the project name, and the screen navigation buttons. Open the TIA portal software and create a new project. Add a new HMI. Ensure that the HMI ID you select matches the ID on the HMI device. If you only need to simulate, you can choose any ID. Uncheck the Start Device Wizard option and click OK. To design the frame for the logo, use a rectangle shape. Hide the border by setting its property to 0. Choose a color for the frame. The width and height of the frame should be set to 60. However, you can adjust this size depending on the type of HMI you are using. Set the X and Y positions of the frame to 0 so that the image is located in the top left corner of the HMI. Drag and drop your company's logo image onto the screen and adjust its size. To maintain the original size and avoid distorting the image, hold down the Shift key while resizing the image. Next, design the frame for the project name, similarly to the previous frame. Use this function for alignment of the objects. Use the button function to create screen navigation buttons. Set the corner radius to 0. For the fill property, select solid. The height of the button should be set to 60 to match the size of the frame created before. To place the button at the top of the screen, set the Y position to 0. Adjust the button width to fit appropriately with the size of the frame created before. Name the button Home to represent the main screen. Continue copying and creating the other buttons in the same manner. The other buttons should be created in a similar way. Adjust the position of the buttons to make the HMI interface more intuitive. We have 5 buttons, each corresponding to a different screen. Therefore, we need to create 5 additional screens corresponding to these buttons. First, rename the main screen to Screen Home. Then, create the other screens corresponding to the 5 buttons. Name each screen to easily distinguish between the different screens. After creating all the screens, back to the main screen and set up the screen change function for the buttons. In the press property of each button, use the active screen function. Drag and drop the corresponding screen onto the button to set up the screen change when the button is pressed. Now, when the operator presses the home button, the HMI will display the home screen. Do the same for the other buttons. Run the simulation to check the results. Now, when you press Settings Screen button, the HMI will open the settings screen. One issue encountered is that when HMI open the settings screen, the header no longer appears. To resolve this, go back to the main screen. Select all objects by pressing Ctrl and A. Copy and paste the header onto the other screens. Run the simulation again and check. The screen change function should now be working correctly. However, another issue arises. With this method, if you want to modify a property of the header, you will need to make the change manually on each screen. For example, if you need to change instructor to teacher, you would have to update this on every screen individually. To address this drawback, you should use the templates function. This feature allows you to create and manage layout templates, making it easier to update properties or design elements across all screens simultaneously. In the Templates folder, create a new template and name it Header. Back to main screen. Copy all objects of header. Paste it into the header template. Now, we have a common header for all screens. Back to home screen, select the entire header and delete it. In the Templates property of the main screen, drag and drop the header template into the field. You will now see the design elements from the template appear on the screen as a faded image. You cannot edit these objects directly on the screen. You can only make modifications within the template. Do the same for the other screen. Run the simulation and check the results. All functionalities now operate correctly. When you need to update the header information, simply go to the template and make the necessary changes to the objects within it. For example, if you want to change teacher to instructor, you only need to make the update within the template. All screens now display the instructor. First, create a new tag folder. Create a new tag called Screen ID to identify the ID of the selected screen. Set the tag format to integer. Back to the header template. We assign an ID of 0 to the home screen. Here, I'm only providing a draft. Once finished, you can remove these text entries. Similarly, the settings screen has an ID of 1. The alarm screen has an ID of 2. Trend screen has an ID of 3. An admin screen has an ID of 4. Click on the Home button. Select the Event tab. In the Press property, add a function named setTag to assign a value to the tag. Here we assign a tag named Screen ID. Drag and drop the Screen ID tag into this position. Since the ID for the home screen is set to 0, assign the value 0 to the Screen ID tag. Do the same for the Setting button. Assign the value 1 to the Screen ID tag because the ID for the setting screen is set to 1. Apply the same process for the Alarm button. The ID for this screen is 2. For the Trend screen, the ID is 3. The admin screen has an ID of 4. Back to the Home button. In the Animation tab, add a function to change the button color. When the Screen ID tag is O, meaning that the Home button is pressed, change the button color to green. Similarly, for the Setting button, set the button color to green when the Screen ID tag is 1. The alarm button should be green when the screen ID tag is 2. The trend button should be green when the screen ID tag is 3. The admin button should be green when the screen ID tag is 4. Run the simulation and check the results. Since the screen ID tag is currently set to O, the home button will be green. When you select the setting button, it will also green. Similarly, other buttons will display in green when selected. Now, we have completed the draft. You can now delete all text here. Run the simulation again and check the results. Now, the functionality of changing the button color when changing screens is working correctly. Another important feature to note is the startup screen. If you see a screen with a green arrow pointing to the right, it is the startup screen for the HMI. This means that when HMI is powered on, will automatically switch to this screen. You can change the startup screen by right-click on the desired screen and selecting the property Define as Start Screen. Download the program to the HMI. Ensure that your computer is connected to the HMI by using the ping command to check the connection between the HMI and the computer. Ping the IP address of the HMI from the Windows command prompt. If you receive a response with a time, it means the connection is successful. If you are unsure how to connect or set the IP address for the HMI, please refer to the previous lesson for guidance. Now, click the download button to transfer the program to the HMI. Select the network card that you are using to connect your computer to the HMI. Now, all functions are operating according to the intended principles.